Jim Carrey is funny again, and audiences are loving it. We'll be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog and it dominating the box office on this Extra Butter. Along with that, no one saw this coming. The Invisible Man is awesome. See what I did there? No one saw this coming? Ha! Also, Knives Out. If you missed it on the big screen, get ready for one of the best ensemble cast ever, or at least this century, or at least this year. That and more on this edition of Extra Butter. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mikey Winfield's birthday, so happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mikey Winfield. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to sing happy birthday to you. We also needed something to get us all the way during the long walk over here.
Yes,
so
we
hey,
did.
there we
Yeah,
go.
right.
Take away from it. We just wanted to sing you happy birthday.
That's
it.
right.
That was
That's
genuine.
it.
That was very
Yeah.
genuine.
Happy
I felt
birthday.
that a lot. I
Hey
did.
everybody, it's the world famous Kelly Savannah Deaton
Kelly Savannah Deaton.
and the world famous Mikey Winfield.
Thank you very much. There's an E in the middle.
And speaking
Right.
of your birthday, what are the plans? What's new in the world of Mikey Winfield you want to talk about?
New in the world. You know what? Just putting stuff together. Like really mentally creating on a corner-turning way, and it feels quite amazing.
I
Yes.
hear talk all over town of you lunching and hanging out with Kevin Hart.
You know, this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say about that. There's a lot in the making, and you know, for me, I like to talk about it once it lands.
I hear you.
You know,
Okay.
so we'll just see. We'll just see.
Right. Once it lands, that seat will be empty right there. We'll have to
how
find
you'll
out on the
know.
trays.
That's
We're
how
reading
you
the
know.
variety, right? All right, so let's talk about movies today. Crushing it at the box office, Sonic the Hedgehog. It came, it saw, it delivered. Why do you think it did so well, Mikey?
I know exactly why, because I have a 9-year-old that forced me to take him. So your kids are gonna say, we have to see this. You pay for the tickets, it ups the numbers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Two
a game
reasons.
plan. Yeah.
Jim Carrey and video games. That combination, boom. You have a
Amen.
blockbuster on your hands.
You know, it's got to be a daunting task for the creators of this who launched it and pretty much got rejected by the whole world and had to revamp in short order. The only thing more difficult would be standing up to Jim Carrey, keeping a straight face to that comedy. James
How?
Marsden did it. Here's how.
I mean, we have like fight scenes with Jim. I was like, just don't punch him in the nose on accident. Just.
Not a bad day's work when you get to riff with Jim Carrey in a major motion picture.
Yeah. It is. And on one hand, the most exciting, like, kind of career highlight for me. On the other hand, it's like, it sort of highlights how much better he is at riffing than you are.
Love that guy. Love the voice of
Yeah.
Sonic too. Thought I made a great call. And what do you think about the look, the first look, when you
Oh
first saw
man,
it Super
I
Bowl?
remember the first look. It was rather threatening. It was imposing.
It was a little vicious.
Yeah, I was hoping they would do something about that, and they
Make
did.
him cuter.
Yeah.
I think right now all the focus is on Jim Carrey, and I love that he's so passionate about the project. Take a look.
When I got the call to do Sonic, it was really exciting.
Good morning, my rural chum.
Mr. Dr. Robotnik.
He is a madman. Ugh, I can't with that guy.
You're mine, Hedgehog. That was an illegal left, by the way.
Of course, he's a 300 IQ, so it took me a week and a half to prepare. Robotnik wants to control humanity with his machines. Sonic is a power that he needs to control the world.
Is that all you got?
No, but thank you for asking.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I just thought you might like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk.
Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them.
All right, with more on why it might be crushing it at the box office, the guy I was sitting next to, ladies and gentlemen, you read his reports in Rolling Stone magazine, LA Times, New York Times, and everywhere in between. It's Sean Edwards, everybody.
Yeah, what's up?
Any birthday wishes for the birthday boy?
Hey man, happy birthday, my man. Hey, I know you like to chill, but sometimes you gotta do it big.
You're right.
Any suggestions, Sean?
Yeah, what would that be?
Just make it memorable. Make it memorable. You only get so many. Make it memorable.
All right, so now we got to keep continuity. Would making it memorable be going to see Sonic at the movies?
If you're a gamer, of course.
All right.
Come on. Is there a bigger figure in the world of gaming than the Hedgehog?
Why do you think this movie broke box office records for a movie based and adapted from a video game?
Because number one, people have been sleeping on the video game industry for a long time. You do know that the video game industry is bigger than the movie and music industry combined. There are so many gamer fans out there. This is one of the most iconic figures in that industry, and they've been waiting for this movie for a long time. They came out, they showed, they proved. The movie won the box office.
Wow. Hey, this is what I was wondering too. You know, this could have been just a money grab for Jim Carrey, but could you tell there was something different in his performance, like he was having more fun?
I mean, I feel like Jim Carrey just felt glad to be out the house. Like, he's the type of guy where he's a genius level performer, and you can't keep that bottled up, and this gave him an opportunity to let loose. That's what he likes to do. That's what he was born to do, and that's what he got a chance to do in this movie, and that's what people like seeing him do.
All right. Were you shocked that it didn't suffer? It looks like it didn't suffer at all from that, like, mislaunch with the wrong kind of video graphics at the beginning. The 3D animation, they completely revamped it and pretended like it never happened.
Well, because the only people who knew about that were, like, super hardcore fans who camp out on Twitter. The rest of the world had no idea. So once the movie came out, it is what it was. And, you know, most of the people who saw it knew nothing about the controversy, and they were waiting to see this movie anyway, so that wasn't going to affect anything anyway. So it turned out to be a hit because they got it right. It's a fun movie, and it's for that world.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Sean Edwards, attached to the movie starring Hilary Swank called Fatale, due out Juneteenth. Congratulations on that.
Congratulations.
Man, yes. June 19th, man. Can't wait, man. It's a crazy movie, man. You never seen Hilary Swank like this before, and Homegirl's got 2 Oscars.
I'm saying it. Where do we catch up with you online?
Man, S. Edwards KC everywhere on everything from TikTok to Facebook to Twitter.
There you go. Thanks, Sean Edwards. Thank you. All right, coming up in a moment. I was not looking forward to The Invisible Man, yet this movie blew me away. It is remarkable. Why? You ask.
Why?
I'll tell you and show you with the stars next. Hey, welcome back. It is Extra Butter, the lovely and talented Kelly Savannah Deaton, the equally lovely and talented Mikey Winfield.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's the special birthday edition of Extra Butter, which is why we got the extra large popcorn.
And where are your flowers? We're floral.
Sorry, I did not get the flower memo. You know
All
what?
the way.
Maybe it'd be better if I weren't even seen here at all today.
Well, anyway, Michael, you take the stage. You go ahead.
Let's knock it out.
That was just my segue into Invisible Man.
Oh.
All right, this trailer. The moment this trailer dropped, I thought, this could go one of 2 ways. This is going to be horrible, or it's going to be really good. What'd you think?
You know what? This is what the trailer did it for me. I mean, I could see the darkness in it, and I think the movie followed up on that, and that's what I liked about it. It had elements that I was thinking about from Hollow Man back in the day, you know, another invisible person movie. But this one just took it another way. I was with it.
I love the guy behind this. You know you're doing well when you get into a Jason Blum Blumhouse movie, and I talked to him about it. What was the horror movie that you saw as a little kid flickering up on the big screen and you said, yeah, that's what I wanted to do?
Well, that didn't happen to me, but the horror movie that scared me the most as a kid was Friday the 13th. I was traumatized by the movie. I couldn't see a horror movie for about 3 or 4 years after that, maybe longer.
And what's the secret to making the perfect horror movie?
The secret to making a perfect horror movie is not think about the horror. The secret to making a perfect horror is don't focus on the horror, focus on the acting, the characters, the script, and if those things are great, the horror will come.
Yeah, you consider him this new generation's king of horror. My generation, we had Wes Craven.
Alfred Hitchcock.
That was my grandparents' generation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My generation's Jordan Peele. What the hell are you talking about? But no, Jason Blum definitely cemented in horror fandom. If you see Blumhouse, you know it's great. Even the trailer, the billboard for it, where the little chair starts floating up.
Yes.
You know it's a very creepy movie. Elisabeth Moss, are you a fan of The Handmaid's Tale?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes. So creepy.
It makes me feel a little guilty about being a man, though.
You should.
Okay.
You absolutely should. That's
right.
why she went with this project. She's trying to send the message out there that men should be invisible. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Oh, is that
I'm
true?
just kidding. No,
Making
absolutely
stuff
not.
up.
Absolutely not. But this movie will creep the heck out of you.
I'm saying, we went to the set to talk to her. Take a look.
To me, it's a very human and relatable story. I love taking this larger, more fantastical idea of a man who is invisible and terrorizing this woman, something that is seemingly impossible and something that is, you know, either sci-fi or horror, whatever it is, and marrying that with an incredibly human story of a woman who is trying to recover who she was and trying to find her voice and trying to speak out about something and not be judged for it or hit for it, whether literally or metaphorically. And I think that, to me, that the marriage of those two in this film is what I love about it and what I'm proud of.
She is phenomenal, but I'll go back to it. Her moments in Jordan Peele's Us cement her forever as being a great horror queen, don't you think?
Yes, the lipstick. Oh, God, that's such a horrible, horrible movie, but so good.
It's like a callback.
Yeah.
So that feel where, someone is there and then they're there.
She's becoming quite the scream queen.
And then this is a great movie to see with an audience because the empathy you get with other people screaming and jumping back into your row. I say go see it on a big screen. What do you say?
I agree. I say go see this one.
You have to see it in the movie theaters. Horror movies are my favorite, and this one does not disappoint.
There you go. Now, if you didn't listen to me when I said the same thing about Knives Out, you get a second chance, although not in theaters. At least see this ensemble cast in your home. Coming up next, Daniel Craig, Jamie Lee Curtis, and the rest. Hey, welcome back. It is Extra Butter hanging out in this cozy movie theater, but now is the time of the show where we talk about what you can get cozy with at home, the ones you love, and I suggest Knives Out.
Yes, buy this movie, 100% buy it. The cast is phenomenal, and I love a classic whodunit.
Did you and your boy toy go see it in theaters?
Boy toy, fiance, or boyfriend?
Oh,
Which
real?
one? Yes,
Yeah.
Jared Leto, Brad Pitt, and I, we all saw it. We
Fantastic.
loved it. We love Chris Evans.
Now stay home and snuggle. Is Chris Evans on your hall pass list? With the aforementioned people in your life?
There's a few. Yeah, he makes the list.
All right.
Okay.
Mikey
All right.
Winfield. What'd you think about Daniel Craig playing a Southern guy? Did you think it worked?
You know what? It's very interesting. I'd like to see him in any role, and that was one of the ones that threw me a little.
A little distracting, right?
Yeah, right. So I was a little off put by it. I don't know.
The ensemble is what I think does make it work, and the writing to boot. I sat down with Daniel Craig and Jamie Lee Curtis to talk about their fast friendship on the set. Take a look.
I like when I have actors grouped together because it's just easy to default to. I like to talk like it's a marriage counseling session. So I'll start with you. Tell me what you most admire about Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, where do I begin? Where do
Her
I begin?
age,
Yeah.
I mean, she's 87 years old and she looks crazy.
How does she do it? You know, it's one of those things where.
Do you want me to leave the room?
Yeah, maybe.
So
you know,
embarrassing.
I've been really lucky to work with some rather fabulous people over the years, and you know, and majority of those people are really lovely and lovely to work with. But when you work with somebody who still loves this job, which is kind of key because it's we've all been doing it for a while, and it's like you can run out of steam. It's like, but loves doing this job, gets a thrill out of it, and wants to be better every day. And when
I love him right now.
And when Jamie comes to set, that's her MO. She's just like, what are we doing? How do we raise the bar? How do we make this better?
How do we make it better?
How do we make it better? Because what the hell? Why would you turn up to work and not do that?
Sure.
You know, I mean, it's like we have the best job in the world. I think I've got the best job in the world. Incredibly lucky to be doing it. Incredibly lucky because it was, because it's rare to be doing stuff like this. So you've got to come to work and you've got to do it. And Jamie does that every single day. So I'm inspired when she's on set.
And now, tell me what you most
Don't
admire
say
about
anything.
this guy.
Don't say anything.
Okay, so
Blah blah blah.
I'm not going to blah 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 because I took a picture of our feet.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And there's a
It's
phrase.
my feet she most admires
No,
about me.
there's a phrase that I like to remind myself, which is "be where your feet are," which is this groundedness of you, and that's the first photograph that I took in our trailer, in the makeup trailer, was a picture of both of our feet, because there's a groundedness about Daniel. There's a depth and intelligence and sort of groundedness.
Love those two together. Now, you guys have hung around, and you've done enough of these junkets to know sometimes when they talk about, oh, yeah, we were fast friends, and it was a family, they're not at all.
No, and they hate each other.
In this case, you could tell they totally were. And Jamie Lee Curtis insisted of taking a picture of my shoes, Daniel's shoes, and her shoes together because she said she always remembers what keeps her grounded. I know that's corny, but it
so cute.
made me weepy at the time.
That is great.
That is so cute.
You know what makes her weepy?
What's that?
Chris Evans. Let's talk about that again. Did you like him in this movie?
Yes, I love him. The entire cast is amazing, but he stood out for obvious reasons because he's a hugely talented actor.
Right.
And he's so smug. It's kind of nice to see him that way.
Yeah, in real life, he's like one of the nicest guys. He is
person
kind of
ever.
like his character in Captain America. He's kind of milquetoast, you know, all-American kind of guy. But in
Helping
this
old
movie,
ladies across the street, kissing babies.
not in this movie. He's the
No.
guy that would throw your mom and your babies under a bus. Is that too hardcore?
No, it works.
All right, we
I
talked.
mean, not in life.
Take a look.
You know, pretty much I'm glad we talked about fashion for a minute because I can't talk about the film because I'll plot spoil. There's
Yeah,
so many
right.
things we can't
True.
say.
Yeah.
For you, is it nice to say to your friends, I'm not just in this movie, I carry this movie? Maybe I'm saying it for you. You carry this movie.
Yeah,
it's true.
it was a great feeling. Yeah, it was I think it's my best, my biggest role so far, and it was
killed it.
very very lucky.
She did kill it. I
Yeah.
especially loved it. Again, without plot spoiling, can I plot spoil and say that you two share scenes where it's just the two of you?
True.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're great in those scenes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got that out of the way.
There's your boyfriend, Chris Evans. Nice guy, too. I like talking to that guy.
He's
I
so
love that
nice.
he's gone on to be a big star because he hasn't let any of the Marvel Universe go to his head.
No, none of them have.
No, you've got an
What
all-star
are you
cast.
laughing for?
No, they didn't. They didn't let that go to the head. No, not at all.
Maybe some did.
Right.
However, this all-star cast carries this movie. It's amazing.
No, who carries the movie is Anna de Armas. She kind
Oh,
of.
I
Blade
forgot about
Runner.
that.
Yeah,
She's
she-
the hologram in Blade Runner.
Absolutely, she flowed throughout. I was impressed throughout.
Hey, coming up in a moment, stay at home, get the kids together again because Frozen 2, just when you had Let It Go locked out of your mind, another Disney song from an animated feature will creep in. Which
Into
one?
the unknown.
We'll tell you about it next. Hey, welcome back. It is Extra Butter. We're calling it the special Mikey Winfield birthday edition because
Wow.
it's Mikey Winfield's birthday
Thank
week.
you so much.
Birthday,
Right.
birthday week,
Birthday
birthday month.
Birthday year. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's
go
do
all
it.
the way.
All right.
All right, you know what you should do? You have a nephew, right?
Yeah.
Gather the nephew around,
And do what?
get some sweet stuff,
Oh, yeah?
Into
pop
the
some popcorn,
Right.
and watch Into the Unknown. Frozen 2, now on home video, DVD or Blu-ray. Now, when I first said that, you said, is anybody really getting Blu-rays or DVDs anymore?
Yeah, I wonder about that. Like, what's the way to do it?
I think pretty soon you're going to be able to show a DVD or a Blu-ray to anybody, and they're going to go, what does this thing do? What is it
Yeah.
for?
That's pretty sad. I think you gotta buy the DVD though, right?
Really?
Like I think it's like that classic. You gotta have a movie room. It's not cool to look on your TV and you have all the digital. I don't like that.
Well, I will tell you, on the Blu-ray, especially the Disney DVD Blu-ray edition, there are sing-along versions of the song and some
Yeah,
other reasons
see?
to get it. I love sitting down with the cast. I want to ask you, so in this
Yes.
movie, we have a new character played by Sterling K. Brown. Is it great to have diversity, which in the Frozen universe, you never thought you'd see diversity, yet they made it happen?
Of course, it's great to have diversity, and I just wish that it would continue. I mean, like Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
He's having these speeches and he's doing these things. When we start to see it, it matters. Until we see it, you know.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, but I'm happy. I'm happy for Sterling K. Brown, and I'm happy for another move in that direction.
It's a start, at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
Sat down with he and Evan Rachel Wood to talk about it. Take a look.
So you two have a tremendous body of work, but is there a little bit of trepidation going into this, knowing that there's a lot of pressure? A lot of eyes are going to be on this.
Yes, there was this nervous excitement, but at the same time, I feel like I've been prepping for this my whole life because I've been singing Disney songs as far back as I can remember.
Sure.
So I felt ready. I felt really, really ready. It felt right. It still hasn't really hit me though.
I did not feel ready at all. I haven't sang in a long time, and so just to be invited has been kind of phenomenal. I feel like the pressure is probably most felt by Jennifer and Chris,
Yes.
right?
Maybe.
Because they're the ones that are sort of putting the whole thing together. I just try to show up and play. Like, that's my thing. If I'm having fun, then hopefully that will be felt when people see the final performance.
I would swear you were tearing up just looking at Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, it's
Why
just
is
something,
that?
Something about that guy. His performance, man, he cries really well. He channels emotion, whether it's This Is Us, whether it's Black Panther. The tear that comes down, it came from somewhere. Like, he really generated that tear, and when I see it, I feel it.
Right.
Even in the animated.
He's methered, so when his
Yeah.
character's going through something, he's got to feel it.
Yeah.
I can see it. I
All
like
right,
it.
It's very well done.
Speaking of the music.
You sat down with those guys.
I did. I sat down with the husband and wife team that write all these fantastic songs.
Where do you get inspiration for your songs specifically for Frozen 2? Well, obviously, we take a lot of inspiration from the story, and we're there, like, sort of working the story out because the story needs to support the songs, and the songs need to carry the weight of the story. So, you know, it's a long process. It's a daily process of collaboration between us and Jen Lee and Chris Buck. And, you know, a lot of that, it sounds like we're just taking inspiration from Anna and Elsa, but really, it's also all of us finding something that resonates in our own lives. So we get a lot of inspiration from ourselves, from our own lives, and put it into the song.
I got a chance to catch up with my friend Kristen Bell again. I say friends because we have history. Her dad used to be my boss.
Interesting.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
So now you remember, your dad was my boss for a decade.
I remember, yeah.
And one time you said, don't you see him? Don't you see him in me? And from that moment on, now I have to see him in
Imagine
you.
me bald without lashes. We're twins.
So I can do a Tom Bell impression. Give me your best Tom Bell impression.
I can't do that because he's going to be able to look this up. But yes, I do a very good Tom Bell impression.
He's a great man. You're a great human being, probably partially as a result of him.
I would agree. He taught me everything I know about being a good human being.
All right, we got to talk about this movie. You didn't want this movie to be made until it was perfect, and I hear it is.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly didn't write it or do all the work, but everyone on the team was like, we have such a responsibility with these characters because they're so meaningful to people. We don't just want this to be episode 2, you know, someone loses their shoes. Like we really tried to create something that was meaningful within their character development and that will mean a lot to people, hopefully.
Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with us. For extended versions of all of our interviews and then some, go to Extra Butter on YouTube. You might already be there. Be sure and like and subscribe.
Notifications.
That's right. In the meantime, follow her all over the world on Instagram at
Kelly Savannah Deaton.
And Mikey Whitfield. Where are we going to see you? What are you doing?
Mike E. Winfield. That's what you do to see it all, and it's all happening and coming up now on the website.
And the world is your oyster.
Yes, it
That's
is.
right.
Yes, it is.
Hey, a pleasure hanging out with you two. As always, thanks for being a part of the show. Miss Kelly Savannah Deaton, will you join me in doing the honors as we roll the credits?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Oh, look, there's the end of credits.